Welcome everybody. Welcome back to this class, Tools for Fearless Curiosity and Exploration, here at the Tree House of Inner Alchemy, which is my business with my dear sister Gabriela.
Thank you, sister. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you to ConnectStar as well, who is a beautiful platform hosting this class and all of our series. And if you want to know more about us, actually, you can just visit myinneralchemy.com, and there is lots of information for you to read. And if you want to get in touch with either Becca and I and work with us directly or just chat, you can find it all there. Oh, yeah. And I just wanted to mention that our next class is February 16th. We can say that at the end, but I wanted to say it here at the beginning so we can have it in our calendars.
All right, so the last time we met, we were gathering together and learning a few new tools to carry along with us on our grand journey of this life. The first one was called rooting, which we're going to practice again in just a minute. That's a grounding practice where we just imagine roots heading down our feet, down into the earth, as a way of calming and centering ourselves, especially when things are a little crazy. And then the other thing that we practiced was something called welcoming everything. And this is a wonderful practice for especially the hard feelings inside us, but really anything that we're feeling, just developing, cultivating a practice of saying hello, whatever is, whatever's happening inside, and welcoming it if possible. So that's what we did last class. And this class today is going to be focusing on a practice of gratitude and the incredible power of our imagination. So should we do the check-in first?
Let's do the check-in. Yeah, we'd love to hear from how you've both been. And we'll just do our little check-in in the same style of last week, our Rose and Thorn. And I also want to add in, after you do your Rose and Thorn, did you use your welcoming or rooting tools in the last 2 weeks since we last met? So I'll start with the Rose and Thorn.
Okay. Yeah, go.
Rose right now in my life is community in all its ways, and family, friends, gathering, animals, being, just the coming together of people feels. So that's a beautiful rose. A thorn is releasing and being very, very compassionate with some serious expectations of myself. I'm working on that. That's a little bit of the thorn, and it's there, and maybe there are a few. Yes, that's mine. And I'll just pass it on, and you guys can tell me if you use the welcoming or rooting tool that I did.
Who wants to go next? Winnie, do you want to go?
Sure. I actually, my roles this week is just feeling alive, doing things that I haven't done in so long, just feeling this newly found self of who I have begun to be, and taking that and running with it. And then my thorn is kind of forgetting that I still have this physical self here that I have to take care of. So the balance is my thorn this week. Taking better care of myself, and not just going, woo, forget everything, just the balance, getting more rest, and taking care of me, and, just taking better care of me and thinking about myself more. So that's my thorn this week.
Mm-hmm. Well done, Minnie. How about you, Jen?
My rose this week is this verse I'm working on, like a blessing verse that I'm working on for a potluck coming up that I've just been doing the last couple months, and I love doing it. I'm having so much fun. I would love to just spend my whole day doing that. And my thorn is just continuing to worry about the stuff that always seems to get in my way, and feeling so like such a difficult time being able to just get past the the impossibility of dealing with certain people around certain things.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hear ya.
Mhm.
How about rooting and welcoming, Jenny? Did you experience that at all this week?
You know, I think I did a little bit. I can't exactly recall what I did it with.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the rooting. I tend to forget that, but the welcoming I
Yeah.
do on occasion with things. Yeah.
Great. How about you, Winnie? Did you have any rooting or welcoming? Oh.
You know what? I have been sort of so much off balance this week because, just like I said, just uh, coming from being, I was a little ill in the earlier part of the week, and then that all plays a part in me just getting better balance with myself. So I've kind of been up and down with a lot of things this week, but still getting some excitement and enjoyment in along the way. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
The interesting thing with these practices that these offer, again, we like to offer them as games to play in your life. The hardest thing is remembering, it seems, just remembering to do it, especially when things are like, freak out, it's like I forget everything in a freak out. So so I just want to invite you to continue to just hold it in your awareness to try and practice. I tend to leave notes for myself around if I'm trying to remember something, like on the windshield or something, like don't forget. So it takes some time to weave them into your life in a way, but just keep playing with it and see how it goes.
What about your check-in?
Oh yeah, I forgot about me. Gosh, my rose and thorn are the same thing, and I'm gonna really not cry while I talk about this, but my 18-year-old daughter is leaving home tomorrow for a great trip into the unknown, and is going to Europe for 8 months on a journey that she designed for herself entirely from start to finish. And she's going to be working all over Europe. And, my heart is bursting and breaking simultaneously. So it's the both sides of love, the grief and praise of love, and the pain of the mother, of the launching of my third child, and just all of the big transition that is for me. So I spent a lot of time crying yesterday. We were all crying, and I think there's gonna be a lot of crying tomorrow. So I'm gonna try not to do it now. But definite rose and thorn for me right there with my dearest one going off.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is a perfect example of both a rose and a thorn.
It really is. And so many times, holy moly, it kind of works that way more often than not. So today's focus, today's game that we want to offer you is a game of gratitude. Now, I want to just talk to you a little bit about gratitude and tell you a story. So I have been somehow, not on purpose, but really expressing and feeling gratitude my whole life. I remember being a child. I remember being about 7 years old and just thinking, I am so lucky. I can tell. I can look around the world and my little world of the 7-year-old lens, and I can say, I'm really grateful because I know I have a good thing in this life of mine. And so that's always stayed with me. So so much of what I want to offer from around these teachings of gratitude just come from literally a lifetime embodied expression of it. Not because somebody said you should practice gratitude, just because it's an easy, open channel for me that has just been there. So one of the ways that gratitude became very tangible and just absolutely skyrocketed in use in my life was when I began to carry around a little, what I call my offering bag. It's just a little bag on a long string that I hang around my shoulder, and it's a pouch that has little crystals in it, little stones, shells, just things of beauty. And whenever I go for a walk in the woods, I bring my offering bag with me. And anytime I just feel inspired by anything, the beauty, oh my God, that falling leaf, that beautiful ice, oh, that smell in the air, these things that just capture my excitement and my love. I just take a little thing from my pouch and I just leave it and I just say thank you. And there's just something about the tangibility of the offering that it reminds me. It's almost like I kind of forget to feel the gratitude without that offering pouch on me that's just sort of there as the reminder. And so once that offering pouch came into my life, I began to weave making tangible gratitude offerings to all sorts of things. It just wove into my life in a really big way. And so I make a lot of offerings outside in my gardens, around my property, where I just leave little presents of like, I'm so thankful, thank you. And then when we came inside in the wintertime, it's ice cold out here in New England. And I realized like, wow, like here I am building a fire in my wood stove every morning. What if I just keep a little offering bowl by the wood stove? And so I just put a little offering bowl of dried herbs and tobacco by the wood stove. And every time I, started the fire in the morning or added a log, I just put a little pinch in and just, I just feel the gratitude. Like, thank you, fire. Like you are keeping me warm. It is cold outside. And if it were not for you, I would be very cold. And so I feel so grateful. And I just was reminded again of how just the act of having this tangible little bowl of the herbs by my fire is the thing that reminds me that this gratitude thing feels so good for myself, as well as like I know that it's like an offering. So as I was doing kind of a dive on this class and doing many meditations and feeling like how the information wanted to come, there was a bunch of writing that came forth. So today I'm going to be doing I'm going to read to you some of the writing that came out around gratitude, and then we can just talk about it. So with the fire, the relationship began when I had something to remind me to be relational with my gratitude. And the connection between me and the fire lit up when I began to say thank you as I added each log. So I'm using my imagination to hold the knowing that I am in relationship with the fire, and that the fire is a conscious being who is both my relative and my teacher. And this is just me, right? Those are my beliefs. That is my relationship with the fire. So for me, when I make these offerings to the fire, that's what I feel in my heart. Like, oh, you are my relative, you are my teacher, you are my ally, you are my friend, like, thank you. So I feel the beingness of the fire, and it becomes not just some thing out there that isn't connected to me, but it actually becomes alive. And so, here I am in this offer of gratitude. I'm animating, I'm creating aliveness out of something that I might not feel as alive. So yeah, I hope you can see how important the imagination is in this building of relationship and of connection through the channel of gratitude. Oh, yeah, and this final thing is like, I can feel that we are woven through the heart. Does that make sense? I have this sense that when I offer my love in the form of just this offering to the fire, in my mind's eye, I see it as a golden cord that comes from my heart to the fire. And it's just like a little cord. And every time I offer, every time I stay in relationship and stay in connection, that cord becomes a little brighter and a little stronger. And so there's this beautiful weaving happening. So, Gabby, I'm wondering does this feel like the right time to tell your story, or should I talk a little bit more about?
Yeah, how about I can
Yeah,
share
why don't you
now.
do that? Why don't you tell your story?
So gratitude, it is really a practice to bring into your life, and I always use the word, it's a lifestyle choice. Just how we choose to drink more water, we choose to go outside for a walk. Having gratitude and acknowledging it in our life is a choice. And I came to a really important realization of that as I started to practice gratitude more and more, especially during the times when I felt, I'm going to say, a lot of emotional, heavy burden. And what I noticed in my life was how disconnected I would become as soon as I stopped my little practices like gratitude. And it is a disconnect that starts really slow as we begin to think about in the whirlwind of whatever is happening. It's a bad day, I had a bad interaction, somebody upset me. All of these add in, and they all just they're like little pebbles that just keep adding on and on and on. And if the dish just gets heavier and heavier, it is really hard to remember because we're too busy carrying the heaviness of all of these thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So what I notice is, oh my gosh, and I'm not feeling the gratitude, and immediately it comes back to the present, like, whoa, I have been a little bit of a fog, and that I love remembering that, because when I went outside, and the outside world is really my connection as well. I was noticing that I couldn't even be present with the beautiful trees. I couldn't be present with the water. And that's when I saw how carrying the weight of all of those thoughts, the heavy dish of pebbles, wasn't serving my soul, wasn't serving my heart connection. As Becca says, what becomes woven through the heart suddenly just dampens. And I just wanted to add that in, because it really is, I'm going to say, an antidote to really, really tough times. And sometimes people can dismiss it like, oh yeah, gratitude. But it's like, no, really, you're really thinking bad thoughts right now. Sorry, you're really thinking bad thoughts. Come up with 5 things you are grateful for right now, and you're going to see how your brain immediately, bloop, like, oh, it is an immediate flip.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes, and it can become easy if you're doing with like a little bit of a snarl. You can still say, "Oh, I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my coffee," you know. But really, yes, what are we grateful for? What are all of these beautiful parts in our lives that we just like turn on the faucet, not put in a fire, turn on the light, and it changes the aura around you. The simple practice of gratitude, it really does. So thank you.
Beautiful, thanks, Gabby. Yeah, it's easy to forget when you get stirred. So just practice when you're not stirred as much as you can, so that it becomes a little bit more just automatic.
Especially if somebody triggers you. Start thinking about what you're grateful for about that person.
Oh, that's good. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea. All right, so I'm going to read to you some.
Hold on, Jenny. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen. What did you say?
What if nobody triggers you?
Then you're not a human.
Then it's nirvana.
You don't need to be having this class. All right, so I'm going to read to you some of the information that came through. This is repeating a bit of what we've been talking about, but just to put it all in a form. All right, so gratitude. Gratitude is a channel of the heart, and it's at its fullest capacity. It is a pulse of embodied love that flows from the heart, aligned with the mind. So this is the key thing. The heart and the mind are aligned in gratitude, and that's very, very powerful, meaning your thoughts are thinking what your mind is feeling. So I'm feeling the gratitude. My mind is not making a shopping list or getting mad at somebody else. My mind is with me on what I'm feeling grateful for. That's what it means to be aligned. If embodied, it is an extremely powerful channel and can be as light as a blown kiss or as vast as the ocean. And what I'm trying to say here with this is that like what we're talking about here is the tip of the iceberg in terms of the power of this channel. The more I know, the more I experience, the more I feel it, the more I can feel how deep it is. It's almost like I can't feel the edges of it because it's such a powerful channel. gratitude creates a relational connection with both the tangible and the intangible. So, it can build a connection with the intangible with, let's say, the breeze. I feel a gratitude for the breeze, this intangible thing, and yet I feel connected to it. I feel grateful for it, and because I do that, I feel a connection to it. Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
I want to just check in with you guys. This is we just shared quite a bit on gratitude, and Becca's very important and beautiful framing of how this all relates. She's describing the what gets woven in the heart. Mm-hmm. How is this feeling, or how is this resonating in your body right now? And your thoughts?
For me, I definitely resonate with it. I really, truly feel that being grateful and appreciation go hand in hand. I have never been so grateful in my life as I do now. I mean, everything. I'm so grateful for this house that I'm in. I'm so great. And it's just things that you don't look at on an everyday. You know that you live in your house. You know that you get in your car and you go to work, or you go, you know that you get a paycheck. But do we really feel grateful for those things? I really, 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 truly feel grateful. Something that I never had before. And when I opened up my mind to feel that actual gratefulness, I appreciated it more, and it becomes more important for me. It stands out. It really stands out. I don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? Yes. When you learn that you can appreciate and you're grateful for something, you don't take it for granted anymore. When spirituality comes to you, when you're enlightened, when you get that touch, or when someone else enlightens you, you are grateful and you appreciate them, and you don't take them for granted. You see them in a different light. And that's how I feel with everything now. Every little thing I appreciate. The plant on my table, I am grateful for. I appreciate it. And I water it every day now. You know what I mean? Because everything is here for a reason. Everything we have is for a reason. We have to appreciate it, what God has given to us. And then therefore we will get more. When you appreciate something and your gratitude, and you show gratitude and you're humbling, you get more. And those little things have the ability to come to each and every one of us. All we have to do is take the time to appreciate it more. And then you'll notice that it will be more. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm learning along my journey. I appreciate life in itself. I appreciate every single day that I get up. It means something to me. It may be a lot going on in the world, but I appreciate that I'm still here to see it and to love it and to enjoy it. And I find my own ways to enjoy it. I'm not looking at the negativity anymore. That's in the back of me, because I'm here enjoying it for me, for myself. And I'm humble, and I appreciate it. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Love it. Thank you, Winnie. That's beautiful. Jenny, how about you? What's your relationship with gratitude?
Well, for me, I mean, I definitely can get stuck in forgetting to be in gratitude. So when my main way of remembering gratitude is in my morning prayers that I do. For those of you who don't know, every morning I usually go outside for this. I get up at 3 or 4 and have this whole round of gratitude prayers I do. A lot to outside things like the directions and trees and all of that, and then a lot of internal gratitude as well, and all of it toward internal connections, like some ancestors and what I call my inner council and things like that. Yeah. And so a lot of my gratitude is based around, and more, like I become aware of a lot because of where I can go with my imagination in it. And
Yes.
where it takes me, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it'll pull me out of crappy thinking, even in the middle of my gratitude prayers, I'll start grumbling in my mind about various things. And then I'll just remember where I left off and I'll come back to the next gratitude. And I do that morning after morning after morning. And boy, if I didn't have that to turn to, I don't know what I'd be doing.
What a beautiful practice.
Eddie, that's awesome. I love it. I just love how rich both of you have such a rich relationship with gratitude already. So it's great. I feel like we're having a little gratitude party here.
It is a gratitude party.
Okay, so I'm gonna read to you a little bit more of what came through here. Gratitude creates, when I was talking about alignment, gratitude creates a mind-heart coherence. So that's talking about vibration. There's a way that it creates coherence, meaning these two parts of our being are vibrating at essentially the same frequency, and it activates love. It activates our love channel. And I like to see it as like a tangible, glowing coal of love that we just like offer to whatever it is that we're offering it to. It's like, oh, here, I have this love in my heart, and I'm now going to give it to you to feel. So a practice of gratitude over time weaves a giant web of connection that nourishes the whole in the weaving.
Oof. That gave me chills.
Can you feel that?
Yeah,
it nourishes the whole, and I'm talking about the whole, like the whole everything. So with our love, we can nourish the whole simply by expressing our gratitude. And if you can also use your imagination, as Jenny is discussing, talking about, by imagining the weaving that you're doing while you are feeling the gratitude. So I imagine, like I was talking about with that, the little coal or the single golden thread that then gets woven bigger and bigger and becomes the cord. And then I see the web that I'm weaving of all of the cords of connection to all of the things that I feel so grateful for. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm not alone in the world. I'm woven into the web of all things, and it's all woven with love. So I think we're okay. Can you feel how like just this little thing, like when you just stack it on top of itself, it becomes something so beautiful. Okay, so just a couple more things. One is that gratitude from the mind will never be in its fullest power. So we can think, well, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for food, we can just like list those things with our mind. And that does have power because we are focusing our mind's attention towards that thing. But it's not until it's an embodied experience of feeling the love in the gratitude that the gratitude is really in its fullest expression. And, our human selves, sadly, are very traumatized by life. And, our hearts and our bodies are traumatized just from being alive. And sometimes the mind is the only channel that we have available because we're cut off from our emotions and we're cut off from our bodies. Many, 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 many people are very cut off from here to here. So I don't want to discourage those of you who are listening who perhaps don't have an open-hearted feeling of love and gratitude, but they know it in their mind. So just start there. Just start there. And as you continue to practice, this is going to open in the process. And then you'll be able to feel that beautiful coherence, which is a really great feeling. Okay, so the last piece that came through is gratitude is best given without a need for anything to be returned. And the love that is offered is returned to the self in the act of the giving. Ooh, can you feel that?
I think you should read that again, sister.
I will read that again.
Yes.
All right. Unmute me for me. So gratitude is best given without a need for anything to be returned. And the love that is offered is returned to the self in the act of the giving. So this is the connection part. We are we offer the love, not so that, oh, if I offer the love to you, will you love me back? Which is what our child says, our child wants. Like, oh, in order to have love, I have to do X, Y, and Z and be good and all of these things. Like, no. Just the act of offering the love, we receive the love. But it's not an offering so that anything else happens. No, so that, just because. It's just this pure gift of because I love. That's it.
Yes, and if you don't mind
Oh,
me
please
adding
go.
in here, sister, when you say so that, I'm going to give something gratitude so that, it's really bringing in the limitations of expectation of whatever it is that you're feeling for, what I have discovered. So yes, I am grateful for this so that something else can open up in this place. And that's already setting up an expectation, and it really limits, I want to say, how I feel about myself, because then I have a little bit of tightness and I'm like, I'm going to expect more now. And that's not necessarily true. And it's involving the mind, I want to say, a little bit more. So I wanted you to read that twice because of coming back to that, I'm just being grateful for this.
Beautiful. Thanks. So what I want to do now is just do a little gratitude activity right now with you guys. I think because you both have a very strong experience of being grateful, what I want to invite you to do right now is just call in that experience in your body. Remember a time where you were feeling particularly grateful for something, and just feel that, the feeling of gratitude in your body. And if it helps you to think about something right now in this moment that you're currently feeling grateful for, then just bring that in, bring it into your mind's eye, and just take a moment. We're just going to take a moment to just feel. And so this is a dropping into the heart and feeling that gratitude. So just take a minute. Good energy
Good.
flowing.
Yeah, good energy with gratitude flow.
So as you hold this object of your affection in your mind, heart, body, feel, I want to invite you to use your imagination to feel your gratitude growing like a bright sun in your heart. So it might start off as just a little coal of gratitude, and you just feel that expand. Just feel that bright sun expand. Just warming your whole body, this love. And then if it feels right, you might want to imagine like a little cord of light going from that bright sun in your heart out towards the object of your affection, the object of your love. Maybe just seeing that, whatever the person, place, thing, being, whatever it is that you're feeling grateful for, just see it brighten a little bit as a result of that love that you just offered. And then just notice how all of that feels in your body. Just take a minute and say thank you to that thing, whatever it might be. And then come on back.
I jumped into that one.
You did. You did. Yeah, got some energy moving on that one.
Thank you.
So I would love to hear what you were feeling grateful for and what it felt like to go through that exercise. Whoever feels called. Winnie, do you want to start again? Do you mind starting?
I am grateful for so many things, Becca. It's like it's so many things. To point out one right now, it's like it's so difficult. I will definitely say I'm grateful for my family. My husband, my children, although chaotic they can be, you know what I mean? I'm so grateful for them to allow me to be the person that I am now. And the support that comes from them, making me feel like it's okay to be who I want to be, who I am, who I now see myself. That gratefulness, I feel love. I feel so much energy going to my heart. I feel that that's where the love is there. It's like full. It's so overwhelming because it's there. And it's like almost too much. Like you're just I'm so excited. And it's just too much. Like my head's like, ooh, like it just wants to blow off. That's the kind of love that I feel. I also feel the extension of my family to the worldwide family that I am now meeting. The extension to all these new people that are accepting me for who I am and joining me, becoming a new family to me. I even feel that additional love. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for every bit of life right now.
You're a real fountain, Winnie. I can feel it. You're just like fountaining out of your heart. It's so beautiful.
Thanks, Becca.
Thank you. How about you, Jenny?
I remembered right when you were describing the exercise, I remembered from this place where I sit in the woods so often. It's on a fallen limb of a box elder tree, and over to my left, like just where I can reach, there's a few other, like the trunk of the tree, I guess, and another limb. It's hard to tell because it's fallen and parts of it are fallen apart. But there are areas where you can see underneath the trunk of the tree, and it's just a lot of hidden areas, and the surface, there's no bark left on this wood, and the surface is beautiful and has these beautiful little bubbles and things in it. And I'll be in the middle of my prayers thinking whether it's really deep gratitude or something completely pissy. And I'll look over and I'll go, oh yeah, you, and I'll put my hand on her, and I just love that tree.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, Jenny, I feel that connection that you have. I feel that the beingness of the tree, and you know that, and you feel it, and you're supported by it.
Yeah.
So here's where we the gratitude and the imagination come together to create connection in places where maybe out there in the world, where we only believe in things that are solid, that you couldn't possibly have a relationship with a tree like that. And yet, of course you do. That's
Yeah.
so beautiful, Jenny. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Do you want to share your sister?
I will. Mine was really interesting. I wasn't expecting to feel gratitude for the great discomfort that I'm feeling.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It just popped in, and the discomfort was like a little pine cone, and it had all of these like pokey things, sharp bits, but it was beautiful. It was a pine cone, and I'm like, oh, thank you, discomfort. I'm not in the form of the pine cone. As you were running through the exercise, putting it in my heart, the discomfort, which was this pine cone and part of me, I felt the yellow and the warmth, and it was such tremendous love for the discomfort. I just felt so loving, grateful for the challenge of the discomfort. Like, thank you, challenge. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I love you. And the more that I loved it, the pine cone turned into a little golden pine cone. Oh! It was just like, I love it. It just, and then my heart was like, I love you. So
it's beautiful.
I don't think I've ever said I love the discomfort. So
wow,
there we go.
That's big.
Yeah,
That is huge. Yes.
that's true.
Honestly, that is really big. Thank you for doing that, Gabby, because that speaks so much to, again,
Wow.
the first tool that we offered, the first game of welcoming everything. Yes. Like, here you are, truly welcoming as it is the discomfort of your change, and it has been uncomfortable. I witnessed it. It's uncomfortable.
And gratitude for
and
that.
And to be able to hold this discomfort, let it be as it is. Not only let it be as it is, but to be grateful for it as it is. And then what happens? It transforms. That is true. That happens so many times. So
Now I'm excited to see what happens. I'm like, oh, great challenge.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Whew.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing, everybody. So I'm looking at the clock and I'm realizing that we're not going to cover all of the material that I wanted to today. So we're going to just explore a little bit into the realm of the imagination, and then we'll pick up with that again in the next class. And again, all of these things that we're doing, we're just weaving them in, and we'll keep remembering and speaking to them as we go forward. Okay, so the imagination, it's been absolutely present the entire class here, right? That's been present for each one of us. And I want to talk about the impact of, I'm going to just call it like some negative conditioning around the imagination that comes to us in childhood through a couple of different channels. Number one is through the channel of just the traumas that we experience growing up. Now, these traumas can be like horrific traumas, or they can just be the little traumas of like, you know, my feelings were hurt when my friend didn't invite me over when I was 7. Like, those are very, very, very real traumas. And what happens with trauma that I just learned, and I didn't know about this, I've experienced this, but I didn't know that it was like a thing, which was, I was just reading in Bessel van der Kolk's book on trauma. It's called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's a wonderful, wonderful book. And he says that trauma truncates the imagination. And that made so much sense to me. It cuts down the imagination, and because it keeps us sort of in a black and white framework that's based on fear. It's like, good, bad, black, white, you know, but the realm of the imagination, of course, is so far beyond that black and white world. So to just hold the awareness that our imagination can be stunted in our childhood. And the other thing that happens in childhood is how many of us have been told in sort of a disdainful manner, oh, that's just your imagination. That's just your imagination. That's your imaginary friend. That's just your imagination. And just, can you feel just how, like, it's almost scornful? And the thing is, like, the child's imagination is actually, I believe, the child's greatest superpower. It's one of the things in childhood that is one of the most precious, valuable attributes that if we can cultivate and keep alive can serve us for the rest of time. But what happens? What do we do in this world? We say, oh, it's just your imagination. Meaning that's not real, that's not important, that's not valuable. Whereas in fact, all of the things, it is real, it is valuable, and it is really important. So I just want to sort of like call forth the places in ourselves where our imagination might have been impacted. And I can't remember if I spoke about this in the last class, but I remember knowing this, feeling this, before I began any of my healing work, because I remember sitting with my children when they were young, and I couldn't tell how to play with them. Like, I knew that there was this thing called play that perhaps I should be doing, but it was like I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't feel it. And now that you know, looking backward in time, like that was before I did a massive amount of trauma clearing from my body. And once I cleared that trauma through pretty relentless healing work for a long time, that flexibility of the imagination and play came back. So I really have the embodied experience of what he's talking about with this truncated imagination with trauma. So I want to just talk to you guys about and just hear your feedback. Like, what kind of messages did you get in your childhood about your imagination? I'm trying to unmute you there, Winnie.
Yeah, for me, my lifestyle and how I was raised and grew up, there was a different type of trauma. So it wasn't allowable for me to have an imagination in that sort.
Yes.
So I wasn't able to actually, it was always so much going on for me. I have a big family. There wasn't really a way to have an imagination in my family. It was, you know, so, And like I said, the traumas just are different types of traumas that don't really relate to this, but I just didn't have an imagination. Like I'm like light and dark. Like I was dark as a child, and I'm light now, but I really cannot. I just can't see where those traumas were or anything like that. I just can't relate to that one. Not quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, I want to introduce a concept called developmental trauma, which is just really the trauma of socialization, just being raised. It's not like being beaten. It's just like being raised. And it, so,
Right.
so yeah, it'll emerge for you the places where, you know, you just named it. You weren't allowed to have an imagination. That is a trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. That it wasn't, I don't know if I can necessarily say it wasn't allowed, but it was just so much going on that wasn't the type of thing that I thought about. You know what I mean? It was just so much other stuff going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Winnie.
What I want to say, I don't know, Jenny, if you're gonna, in my experience, when you were just speaking about that, and it just occurred to me was that I actually used maybe I knew this, but I used my imagination a lot as a child when my family was going through big transitions. And in a way, there wasn't any space or I'm a child, I don't know how to ask, I don't know what's going on. And so I just would make up a story in my mind about what was happening. And I'm like, oh, I'll just imagine. So, but I didn't know I was doing that.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so I didn't know that. So the imagination also as a place to escape.
Oh, yeah. Jenny, do you want to share your child? Did you have any?
Yeah, I might start coughing in the middle, in which case just go on. But
Okay, well, go on.
I can't right now think of ways my imagination was deterred as a child, although I'm sure there must be. So I have to keep thinking about that. But what I think about, you know, based on what you were describing, Becca, is how now, like, even though my imagination is really active a lot of the time, I can play with children, but I have trouble going where they go. And I watch you with children, and like if I could do whatever the loosening it up is that you are talking about, like it's not just children. I have trouble just being in a really loose way imaginal with other people because I always have to be so on guard. So if I could somehow loosen up in what you're talking about, I think I could like jump into that more easily with other people. By myself, I can go anywhere. But you know, I spend most of my time by myself. It's the other people part that's the problem for me. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Jenny. That's wonderful. All right. Well, as we roll into the close here, what I'd like to do is play a little imagination game. We started this imagination game at the last class, but I'd like to build on it really in each class and invite you to build on it in your free time as a form of what we call home play. Okay, so we're going to do meditation again on building the magical world for your inner child to play in. Okay, so, oh, Wendy, do you have a question? Or I think I lost you. Okay, there you're there. All right, so, and I'm going to begin the meditation with a rooting because I meant to do that at the beginning of class. I forgot. So we'll combine the rooting in with the imagination. All right. Okay. So just bring your mind's eye focus into your body, and in whatever way feels good to you, begin to activate your imagination as you see and feel roots growing out of your feet, perhaps out of your tailbone, going down into the earth. And use your imagination to see what roots your body wants to have right now. What roots feel best for you right now? What color are the roots? How do they stretch? What do they look like? Are they fine and thin? Are they thick? And with each breath that you take, when you exhale, just imagine sending more of your energy down through those roots. And as you do that, you can also imagine on the breathing, as you breathe in, bringing up nourishment from those roots into your body. So breathing out and sending yourself down, your awareness, down into your roots. And then when you breathe in, breathing in nourishment, pulling up nourishment from the below, from the realm of below. And as you stand or sit here rooted like a tree, I want to invite you to begin the game of entering into the magical world where your child is happiest and freest. And sometimes I like to imagine opening a magical door, perhaps as maybe at the bottom of a tree or under a bridge or wherever it might be. Imagine a door that you know that it's a magical world on the other side, and you open the door and step through. And the entire purpose and intention of this magical world is joy. What would make you and your many inner children the most happy? And just call in every element you can imagine. This world can be as vast or as small as feels comfortable to you right now. You can even just ask that child, what do you want? How do you want to play? Do you want a whole room of art supplies? You can just create anything you like. Is it a babbling brook? Do you want to catch frogs by? Is it a tree to climb? Is it a whole pack of friends to just go running around with? Is it a magical store that gives you endless ice cream? Whatever it is, let it be so. Just allow yourself to. You don't have too much time in this world right now, but what I want to invite you to do is to tell the world that you'll be back. Whenever you have a moment, that you'll be back. And that this world is a place that you can develop over time. And then in fact, when you're feeling scared, when you're feeling upset or distressed, that this is a world that you can go to in your mind's eye and just feel the joy of it as a little antidote to whatever troubles you in the outside world. So just take a minute and say a word of gratitude to your beautiful imagination, and then come on back into the room. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your worlds. What kind of things are there for you? We don't have too much time, so maybe just like a little short description of what was the most active piece that wanted to pop into view. What about you, Winnie? What were you seeing?
I go back to my tree. I'm sitting at the tree with a book.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'm just reading.
Beautiful.
The branches are the people of Connect Star,
Oh.
all over. They each take a branch, and they're basically just like-minded people in this space with me. And I'm there with them, and they're there with me. And we are just, everybody's doing their own thing. But we gather, we talk, we play, we share things, and then they go back to their branch, to their lives. And then I just go back out to my tree and I read knowledge, getting knowledge. I'm just reading. My tree is strong, and everybody that's on it is just as strong. And we all lean on each other, and we're all the life of the tree. We make it, we represent it. We're all the tree of life. That's mine.
Beautiful, Winnie. Thank you so much. Thank you. How about you, Jen? Where did your imagination take you?
Just to all kinds of possible places where I go in my imagination anyway, and where I could quickly remember going when I was little. I'm forgetting it now. There was something about just the fluidity of being able to pop around all over the place from when I was a child and now, and yeah.
Oh, I love that. The popping around. That's the beauty of the imagination. It is not limited by this three-dimensional world of like you have to walk or take a plane. Like, no, you can pop. You can pop there in your mind, and that ability to pop around and to fly about from here, there, and everywhere, from one location to another in the moment of a thought. That's magic right there. Beautiful. Wow. Well, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much. What a rich journey this has been today. And
It has been.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to picking it up again next week. So, or when we meet on February 16th at our next class. So thank you guys so much for coming and being here. Gabriela, do you want to add anything here?
Thank you. I loved being part of the class and coming in and giving in my parts. And thank you, sister, for this transmission on gratitude. Yeah. And I am so excited to get to play with you all and our viewers too that are watching through YouTube. Welcome, and let's continue to play together.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Have a wonderful week, you guys, and really cultivate your imagination. Keep playing with that child. Remember to root. Leave yourself a little note. Root, welcome, imagine, gratitude. That's it.
And I do want to mention one more time, you feel, if you want to connect with us, with Beck or I, please visit us, myinneralchemy.com. You can also email us through Connect Star. And
thank you.
Really excited.
Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.